Good morning. It's a beautiful day in Greenbelt, Maryland. I'm sitting here outside uh, talking to you today about some books that I've read recently. I've done videos on all of these if you want to know more about them. Let me just go through them really quickly. Deep in the Heart of Trouble by Deanne Gist. This was a good book. It's a historical, and basically the book is about a woman named Essie who was born at the wrong time. Like she's someone who really fights for women's rights and equality for women, and it's not something that was really accepted back when uh, she was born. So she's fighting for things a little bit early in history. So that's why she has a little bit of a reputation. But it's a good book. It has to do with the oil wells and her helping her with her father's company. This is a book, if you want to read it, it has an inspirational message, but it's really good. It's a thick book. The characters are so well developed. It is a nice, sweet story. And another thing that's unusual about this book, because you don't see this much with historicals, the hero is younger than the heroine. Maybe by a few years. It's not a lot, but it's some, because she's an older woman, older for that time frame, and she's actually considered a spinster. So it's kind of interesting how she meets this guy and how they hit it off. And she's got a lot of backstory as well, because there's a book out about the same woman, Essie, before this one, that will give you more insight about her life and things that she's gone through. Again, the her character is like somebody who should have been born like maybe 50 years after the year that she was born, if that makes any sense. But check it out. And I really like that book. Wonder. This is a this is a book that's for kids, maybe about five, about no, not about fifth grade, about 10 to like 12 years old. That's probably about the age range for this book. This is a great book. It shows you how to deal with people who are different and how you should treat them with kindness and respect and value their opinions about things. Just because somebody looks a little bit different or looks a lot different than you doesn't mean that you should treat them unkindly. So check out Wonder. Great book. I looked at some videos on TikTok about this book, and it looks like people use this book in their classroom as a teaching tool, which I think is phenomenal. This is a book every child should read. I think it is so well written, and I'm an adult and I read it and I enjoyed it. I do believe there are books for younger children about the same character, because I saw them on other TikTok videos where there's a picture book with the same character, similar storyline, but of course it's more condensed because it's a picture book. But it's a way to connect with people who are, maybe younger than 10, like maybe who was someone who's 5. There's like another book, like I said, a children's picture book with the same storyline. So same author, same storyline, but for younger kids. But this one that I read is for maybe 10 to 12 year olds, and it is a good sized book, and you should really check it out. It's a great book. The Love Hypothesis. I hated this book. I felt like it was, I was trying to read a comic book that's been flushed out into like a longer book. There was no emotional connection, there was no depth. The characters were flat, and I just could not get into it. I couldn't finish it. I know this book is really popular right now, so if you like it, more power to you. And what's good, what if a book is not right for me, that doesn't mean it's not right for you. Give it a try. But I didn't feel anything. Like when I read the book, I felt nothing. I just felt that someone was just writing words onto paper, but it wasn't really, there was barely any plot. And like I said, the characters, they weren't developed. And I felt like I was reading a comic book because the plot was just not there. And in several places, I felt the plot wasn't even plausible, um, in the little bit that I did read. So uh, I didn't care for this book. Now, I have heard that this same author has other books out that are better than this one. And I realize this one is going to be made into a movie. Oh, what I forgot to say about Wonder. Wonder was also made into a movie with Julia Roberts. I was going to read the movie and compare it to the book, but I didn't get around to watching the movie. Maybe I'll do that this weekend or something. So check out The Love Hypothesis if it looks like something you'd want to read. But like I said, I felt like I was reading a comic book and they had just like added words to it or something. I think this would have done better if it was a lot shorter with pictures, like a graphic novel or like like I said, like a comic book. I think this book would have been better that way because there was no storyline on this. But I don't know. And Poisonwood Bible, I love, 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 love this book. Um, if you've read it, let me know what you thought about it because I really enjoyed the Poisonwood Bible. It's about a family from the South who goes to the Congo and Africa as missionaries, and they're stuck there for years. And the father is a pastor, and each of all the book is told in a point of view of either one of the four sisters, there's four sisters, or the mom. The dad does not have a point of view, but he is an integral part of the story. Actually, he's an asshole, to tell you the truth. The father is awful. He's a pastor, and all he wants is personal glory for saving people. He doesn't even, he preaches the gospel, but he doesn't really live it. And it is terrible the way he acts. But the story itself is phenomenal. Like I said, it takes place in Africa. The scenery is beautiful, and the characters are so well developed. And this is a classic. A friend of mine loaned this book to me, and I've been meaning to read it for a while, so I finally got around to it in recent months. So check it out. Definitely check this one out. You'll love it. The Poisonwood Bible. You'll love it. And as I always do when I do my videos, I have to, whenever I talk about other people's books, I have to mention my own. Check out Southern Comfort. I'll leave the link um, in the comments. Southern Comfort is a wonderful women's fiction, and it's a big book. And the main character, Carl, he's blind, like literally blind, like Stevie Wonder, blind, like cannot see anything. And he works and lives independently. He's a computer programmer. And just to give you some backstory on this story, the character Carl is partially based on my husband because my husband is totally blind. So some of Carl's characteristics kind of shine. You can kind of see them in my own husband. And I actually mention a lot of things in the book that affect people with vision problems. And the heroine, she went through a experience when she was a lot younger, and the experience, something happens to her, something traumatic, and brings that experience from her past, like it brings it to her mind, so that she's starting to like, it's starting to affect her again. She thought she was over it, but really she wasn't. And to know more about what she went through, you need to read Southern Comfort. Several 5-star reviews on Amazon, and she's a single mom. So that's why this is a women's fiction. This book is a little bit darker than my other books. And I deal a lot with the heroine and her daughter, the mother-daughter relationship, more so than I do in my other romance novels. So you should check out Southern Comfort. I will leave the link in the comments. So be sure you check the comments for the link where you can go find out more about Southern Comfort by Cecilia Dowdy, and that's me. You will love it. So many 5-star reviews and ratings, and it's a strong book. There are well-developed characters in Southern Comfort. So be sure to check it out and tell your friends about it as well. You know, tell your friends about it because you don't see very many books where the character is actually disabled. And like I said, he's got a good job. He got his own place, and it's just a phenomenal story, and you will love it. All right, thanks for listening to this video in its entirety, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.